Here is chapter 11 of Prodigy, June. I had a nightmare last night. I dreamt that Andon pardoned Day for all his crimes. Then I saw the Patriots dragging Day onto a dark street and putting a bullet in his chest. Razor turned to me and said, "Your punishment, Miss Icarus, for working with the elector." I jerked awake in a sweat, trembling uncontrollably. A day and night, more specifically 23 hours, pass before I see the elector again. This time, I meet him in a lie detection room. As guards lead me down the hall to an ensemble of waiting jeeps outside, I go over all the things I've learned at Drake about how lie detectors work. The examiner is going to try to intimidate me. They're going to use my weaknesses against me. They'll use Midas's death, or my parents, or maybe even Ollie. They'll certainly use Day, so I concentrate on the hall we're walking down, think about each of my weaknesses in turn, and then press each one deep into the back of my mind. I silence them. We drive through the capital for several blocks. This time I see the city smothered in the gray half-glow of a snowy morning. Soldiers and workers hurrying along the sidewalks through the spots of light that street lamps cast on the slick pavement. The jumbotrons here are enormous, some towering 15 stories, and the speakers lining the buildings are newer than those in LA. They don't make the announcer's voice crackle. We pass the Capitol Tower. I study its slick walls, how sheets of glass protect each balcony, so anyone giving a speech will be properly shielded. The old elector had once been attacked that way, back before the glass went up. Someone had tried to shoot at him all the way up on the 40th floor. The Republic had been quick to put up the barriers after that. The tower's jumbotrons have wet streaks distorting the images on their screens, but I can still read some of the headlines as we pass them. A familiar one catches my attention. Daniel Alton Wing, executed December 26th by firing squad. Why are they still broadcasting that when all the other headlines from the same time have long since made way for more recent news? Maybe they're trying to convince people that it's true. Another one flashes by. Elector to announce first law of new year today at Denver Capitol Tower. I want to pause and read this headline again, but the car speeds past and then the ride's over. My car door opens. Soldiers grab my arms and pull me out. I'm instantly deafened by shouts from the crowd of onlookers and dozens of federal press reporters clicking their little square camera screens at me. When I take in the people surrounding us, I notice that in addition to those who are here just to see me, there are others, a lot of others. They're protesting in the streets, shouting slurs about the elector, and being dragged off by police. Several wave homemade signs over their heads even as guards take them away. June Icarus is innocent, says one. Where is Day, says another. One of the guards nudges me forward. Nothing for you to see, he snaps, hurrying me up a long series of steps and into the giant corridor of some government building. Behind us, the noise from outside fades away into the echoes of our footsteps. 92 seconds later, we stop before a set of wide glass doors. Then someone scans a thin card, about 3 by 5 inches large, black with a reflective sheen, and a Gold Republic seal logo in one corner across the entry screen, and we step in. The lie detection room is cylindrical, with a low domed roof and 12 silver columns lining the rounded wall. Guards strap me standing into a machine that encircles my arms and wrists with metal bands and presses cold metal nodes, 14 of them, to my neck and cheeks and forehead, my palms and ankles and feet. There are so many soldiers in here, 20 in total. 6 of them are the examination team, with white armbands and transparent green shades. The doors are made of flawlessly clear glass. It's imprinted with a faint symbol of a circle cut in half, which means it's only one-way bulletproof glass, so if I somehow broke free, soldiers outside the room could shoot me through the glass, but I wouldn't be able to shoot back at them or break out. That's really cool, actually. That's really cool. Outside the room, I see Andon standing with 2 senators and 24 more guards. He looks unhappy and is deep in conversation with the senators who try to cloak their displeasure with fake obedient smiles. Miss Icarus, the lead examiner says. Her eyes are a very pale green, her hair blonde, her skin porcelain white. She scrutinizes my face calmly before pressing on a metal black device she's holding in her right hand. My name is Dr. Shandwi. we're going to ask you a series of questions. As you are a former Republic agent, I'm sure you understand as well as I do how capable these machines are. We'll catch the smallest twitch of movement from you, the slightest trembling of your hands. I strongly advise you to tell us the truth. Her words are all but pre-test hype. She's trying to convince me of the complete power of this lie detection device. She thinks the more I fear it, the more reaction I'll show. I meet her eyes. Take slow, normal breaths. Eyes relaxed, mouth straight. Fine with me, I reply. I have nothing to hide. The doctor busies herself studying the nodes stuck to my skin, then the projections of my face that are probably being broadcast around the room behind me. My own eyes are darting around nervously, and tiny beads of sweat are dotting the very top of her forehead. She's probably never tested such a well-known enemy of the state before, and certainly not in front of someone as important as the elector. As expected, Dr. Sadwani starts with simple, irrelevant questions. Is your name June Empress? Yes. When is your birthday? July 11th. And your age? 15 years, 5 months, and 28 days. My tone stays flat and emotionless. Each time I answer, I pause for several seconds and let my breathing become shallower, which in turn makes my heart pump faster. If they're measuring my physical rates, then let them see fluctuations during the control questions. It'll make it harder to tell when I'm actually lying. What grade school did you attend? Heron Gold. And after that? Be specific, I reply. Dr. Sadwani recoils slightly, then recovers. All right, Miss Empress, she says, this time with irritation in her voice. What high school did you attend after Heron Gold? I face the audience watching me behind the glass. The senators avoid my stare by pretending fascination with the wires snaking around me, but Andon looks back at me without hesitation. Heron High. For how long? 2 years. And then? I let my temper go up so they might think I'm having trouble controlling my emotions and my exam results. And then I spent 3 years at Drake University, I snap. I got accepted when I was 12 and graduated when I was 15 because I was just that good. Does that answer your question? She hates me now. Yes, she says tightly. Good, then let's move on. The examiner purses her lips and looks back down at her black device so she doesn't have to meet my eyes. Have you ever lied before? She asks. She's moving on to more complicated questions. I speed up my breathing again. Yes. Have you lied to any military or government officials? Yes. Right after I answer this question, I see a strange series of sparks at the edge of my vision. I blink twice. They disappear and the room comes back into focus. I hesitate for a second, but when Dr. Sadwani notices this and types something on her device, I force myself to turn back into a blank state. Have you ever lied to any of your professors at Drake? No. Have you ever lied to your brother? Suddenly the room vanishes. A shimmering image replaces it. A familiar living room bathed in warm afternoon light comes into focus, and a white puppy sleeps next to my feet. A tall, dark-haired teenager sits next to me with his arms crossed. It's Midas. He frowns and leans forward with his elbows resting on his knees. Have you ever lied to me, June? I blink in shock at the scene. This is all fake, I tell myself. The lie detector is conjuring up illusions that are designed to break me down. I'd heard of devices like this being used near the warfront, where a machine can stimulate sequences to play out in your mind by copying the brain's ability to create vivid dreams. But Midas looks so real. It's like I could reach out and tuck his dark hair behind his ear, or feel my tiny hand in his large one. I can almost believe that I'm right there in the room with him. I close my eyes, but the image stays embedded in my mind, bright as day. Yes, I say, it's the truth. Midas's eyes goes wide with surprise and sadness. Then he vanishes along with Ollie and the rest of the apartment. I'm back in the middle of the gray lie detector room, standing before Dr. Sadwani as she jots down more notes. She gives me an approving nod for answering correctly. I try to steady my hands as they stay clenched and trembling at my sides. Very good, she murmurs a moment later. My words sound as cold as ice. Do you plan on using my brother against me for the rest of these questions? She looks away from her notes again. You saw your brother? She seems more relaxed now, and the sweat on her forehead has faded away. So, they can't control what visions pop up, and they can't see what I see, but they're able to trigger something that forces these memories up to the surface. I keep my head high and my eyes on the doctor. Yes, the questions continue. Which grade did you skip during your first time at Drake? Sophomore year. How many conduct warnings did you receive when you were at Drake? 18. Prior to your brother's death, had you ever had negative thoughts about the Republic? No. On and on, she's trying to desensitize my brain, I realize, to make me lower my guard, so she'll be able to see a physical reaction when she does ask something relevant. Twice more I see Midas. Each time it happens, I take a deep breath and force myself to hold it for several seconds. They grill me about how I escaped from the Patriots, what the bombing mission was for. I repeat what I told Andon at our dinner. So far, so good. The detective says I've told the truth. Is Day alive? And then Day materializes in front of me. He's standing only a few feet away with blue eyes so reflective that I can see myself in them. An easy grin lights up his face when he sees me. Suddenly I ache for him so much that I feel like I'm falling. He's not real. This is all a simulation. I let my breathing steady. Yes. Why did you help Day escape when you knew that he's wanted for so many crimes against the Republic? Might you have feelings for him? A dangerous question. I hardened my heart against it. No. I simply didn't want him to die at my hands for the one crime he didn't commit. The doctor pauses in her note-taking to raise an eyebrow at me. You risked an awful lot for someone you hardly know. I narrow my eyes. That doesn't say much about your character. Perhaps you should wait until someone's about to be executed for a mistake you made. She doesn't respond to the acid in my words. The illusion of Day vanishes. I get a few more irrelevant control questions then. Are you and Day affiliated with the Patriots? Day appears again. This time he leans in close enough for his hair to brush, light as silk, against my cheeks. He pulls me toward him for a long kiss. The scene vanishes, replaced abruptly by a stormy night and Day struggling through the rain, blood dripping from his leg and leaving a trail behind him. He collapses onto his knees in front of Razor before the whole scene disappears again. I fight to keep my voice steady. I was. Is there going to be an assassination attempt on our glorious elector? No need for me to lie on this one. I let my gaze wander to Andon, who nods at me in what I assume is encouragement. Yes. And are the Patriots aware that you know about their assassination plans? No, they are not. Dr. Sadwani looks over at her colleagues, and after several seconds, she nods and turns back to me. The detective says, I've told the truth. Are there soldiers close to the elector who may support this assassination attempt? Yes. Several more seconds of silence while she checks with her colleagues on my answer. Again, she nods. This time, she turns around to face Andon and his senators. She's telling the truth. Andon nods back. Good, he says, his voice muffled through the glass. Continue, please. The senators keep their arms crossed and their lips tight. Dr. Sadwani's questions are ceaseless, drowning me in their never-ending torrent. When will the assassination attempt take place? On the elector's planned route to the warfront city of Lamar, Colorado. Do you know where the elector will be safe? Yes. Where should he go instead? A different border city. Is Day going to be a part of this assassination attempt? Yes. Why is he involved? He's indebted to the Patriots for fixing his injured leg. Lamar? Dr. Sadwini murmurs as she types more notes into her black device. I guess the elector will be switching his route. Another piece of the plan falls into place. The questions finally come to an end. Dr. Sadwani turns away from me to talk with the others, while I let a breath out and sag against the detector machine. I've been in here for exactly 2 hours and 5 minutes. My eyes meet Andon's. He's still standing near the glass doors, surrounded on both sides by soldiers, his arms crossed tightly over his chest. Wait, he says. The examiners pause in their deliberations to look over at the elector. I have one last question for our guest. Dr. Sadwani blinks and waves at me. Of course, Elector, please. Andon walks closer to the glass separating us. Why are you helping me? I push back my shoulders and meet his gaze. Because I want to be pardoned. Are you loyal to the Republic? A final collage of memories comes into focus. I see myself holding my brother's hands on the street of our Ruby sector, our arms raised in salute to the Jumbotrons as we recite the pledge. There's Midas's face, his smile, and also his strained look of worry on the last night I saw him. I see the Republic flags at my brother's funeral. Midas's secret online entries scroll past my eyes, his words of warning, his anger at the Republic. I see Thomas pointing his gun at Day's mother. I see her head snap backward at the bullet's impact. She crumples. It's my fault. I see Thomas clutching his head in the interrogation room, tortured, blindingly obedient, forever captive to what he did. I'm not loyal anymore. Am I still loyal? I am right here in the Republic's capital helping the Patriots assassinate the new elector, a man I once pledged my allegiance to. I am going to kill him, and then I'm going to run away. I know that the lie detector is going to reveal my betrayal. I'm distracted, consumed with the conflict of needing to make things right with Day, but hating to leave the Republic at the mercy of the Patriots. A shudder runs through me. They're just images, just memories. I remain silent until my heartbeat steadies. I close my eyes, take a deep breath, and then open them again. Yes, I say. I am loyal to the Republic. I wait for the lie detector to flare red, to beep, to reveal that I'm lying. But the machine is quiet. Dr. Sadwani keeps her head down and types in her notepad. She's telling the truth, Dr. Sadwini finally says. I passed. I can't believe it. The machine says I'm telling the truth, but it's only a machine. Later that night, I sit on the edge of my bed with my head in my hands. Shackles still hang from my wrists, but otherwise I'm free to move around. I can still hear the sounds of occasional muffled conversation outside my room, though. Those guards are still there. I'm so exhausted. I shouldn't be technically, since I haven't done anything physically straining since I was first arrested. But Dr. Sadwini's questions whirl in my mind, and combined with the things Thomas had said to me, haunting me until I have to clutch my head in an attempt to ward off the headache. Somewhere out there, the government is debating whether or not they should pardon me. I'm shivering a little, even though I know the room is warm. Classic signs of an oncoming illness, I think darkly. Maybe it's the plague. The irony of that sends a hint of sadness and fear through me. But I'm vaccinated. It's probably just a cold after all. Midas had always said I was a little sensitive to changes in weather. Midas. Now that I'm alone, I let myself worry. My last answer during the lie detector test should have thrown a red flag, but it didn't. Does that mean I am still loyal to the Republic without even being aware of it? Somewhere deep down, the machine could sense my doubts about carrying out the assassination. But if I decide not to play out my role, what will happen today? I'll need a way to contact him without Razor finding out. And then what? Day's certainly not going to see the elector the way I see him. And besides, I have no backup plan. Think, June. I have to come up with an alternative that will keep us alive. If you want to rebel, Midas had told me, rebel from inside the system. I keep dwelling on his memory, although my shivering makes it hard to concentrate. Suddenly I hear a commotion outside the door. There's the sound of heels clicking smartly together, the telltale sign of an official coming to see me. I wait quietly. The doorknob finally turns. Andon steps in. Elector, sir, are you sure you don't want a few guards with you? Andon just shakes his head and waves a hand at the soldiers outside the door. Please, don't trouble yourselves, he said. I'd like a private word with Miss Icarus. It'll only take a moment. His words remind me of the ones I spoke when I'd visited Day in his cell at Balta Hall. The soldier gives Andon a quick salute and closes the door, leaving the two of us alone. I look up from where I'm sitting on the edge of my bed. The shackles that bind my hands clink in the silence. The elector isn't in his usual formal garb. Instead, he wears a full-length black coat with a red stripe that runs down the front, and the rest of his clothes are elegantly simple. Black collar shirt, a dark waistcoat with 6 shining buttons, black trousers, black pilot boots. His hair is glossy and neatly combed. A lone gun hangs at his waist, but he wouldn't be able to draw it fast enough to shoot me if I decided to attack him. He's genuinely trying to show his faith in me. Razor had told me that if I was to find a moment when I could assassinate Andon on my own, I should do it. Take the opportunity. But now here he is, unexpectedly vulnerable before me, and I don't make a single gesture. Besides, if I try to kill him here, there's 0 chance I'll see Day again or survive. Andon sits down beside me, careful to leave some distance between us. Suddenly I'm embarrassed by my appearance, slouched and weary with undone hair and night clothes, seated next to the Republic's handsome prince. But I still straighten and tilt my head as gracefully as I can. I am June Icarus, I remind myself. I'm not going to let him see the chaos I'm feeling. I wanted to let you know that you were right, he starts. There's genuine warmth in his voice. 2 soldiers in my guard went missing this afternoon, ran away. The 2 Patriot decoys have escaped as planned. I sigh and give him a rehearsed look of relief, just in case Razor is watching. Where are they now? We're not sure. Scouts are trying to track them. Andon rubs his gloved hands together for a moment. Commander DeSoto has instated a new rotation of soldiers that will accompany us. Razor. He is putting his own soldiers in place, gradually moving in for the kill. I'd like to thank you for your help, June, Andon goes on. I want to apologize for the lie detector test you had to undergo. I know it must have been unpleasant for you, but it was necessary. At any rate, I'm grateful for your honest answers. You'll stay here with us for a few more days until we're sure the danger of the Patriots' plans is past. We may still have some questions for you. After that, we will figure out how to integrate you back into the Republic's ranks. Thank you, I say, even though the words are completely hollow. Andon leans in. I meant what I said at our dinner, he whispers, his words rush and his mouth barely moving. He's nervous. A sudden paranoia seizes me. I tap a finger against my lips and give him a pointed look. His eyes widen, but he doesn't shy away. He gently touches my skin, then pulls me toward him as if he were going to kiss me. He stops his lips right beside my own, letting them rest ever so slightly against the skin of my lower cheek. Tingles run down my spine, and along with them an undercurrent of guilt. So the cams don't pick it up, he whispers. This is a better way to talk in private. If a guard were to poke his head inside the door, it would seem like Andon stealing a kiss instead of whispering with me. A safer rumor to spread. And the Patriots would just think I'm going along with their plans. Andon's breath is warm against my skin. I need your help, he murmurs. If you were pardoned of all crimes against the Republic and set free, would you be able to contact Day? Or is your relationship with him over now that you're not with the Patriots? I bite my lip. The way Andon says relationship makes it sound like he thinks there was once something between Day and me. Once. Why do you want me to contact him? I ask. His words have a quiet, commanding urgency that gives me goosebumps. You and Day are the most celebrated people in the Republic. If I can form an alliance with you both, I can win the people. Then, instead of quelling rebellions and trying to keep things from falling apart, I can concentrate on implementing the changes this country needs. I feel lightheaded. This is sudden, startling, and for a moment I can't think of a good response. Andon is taking a huge risk talking to me like this. I swallow, my cheeks still burning from his proximity. I shift a little so I can see his eyes. Why should we trust you? I say, my voice steady. What makes you think Day wants to help you? Andon's eyes are clear with purpose. I'm going to change the Republic, and I'm going to start by releasing Day's brother. My mouth turns dry. Suddenly, I wish we were talking loud enough for Day to hear. You're going to release Eden? He never should have been taken in the first place. I'll release him along with any others being used along the war front. Where is he? I whisper. When are you? Andon has been traveling along the war front for the past few weeks. My father had taken him, along with a dozen others, as a part of a new war initiative. They're basically being used as living biological weapons. Andon's face darkens. I'm going to stop this mad circus. Tomorrow my order will go out. Andon will be taken from the war front and cared for in the capital. This is new. This changes everything. I have to find a way to tell Day about Andon's release before he and the Patriots kill the one person with the power to free him. What's the best way to communicate with him? The Patriots meant to be watching all of my moves from the camps, I think, letting my mind spin. I need to signal him. Day's face appears in my thoughts, and I want to run to him. I want so much to tell him this good news. Is it good news? My practical side pulls at me, warning me to take this slowly. Andon might be lying, and this could all be a trap. But if it was just another attempt to arrest Day, then why wouldn't he just threaten to kill Eden? This would bring Day out of hiding. Instead, he's letting Eden go. Andon waits patiently through my silence. I need Day to trust me, he murmurs. I put my arms around his neck and move my lips closer to his ear. He smells like saddlewood and clean wool. I need to find a way to contact him and convince him, but if you release his brother, he will trust you, I whisper back. I'm going to win your trust too. I want you to have faith in me. I have faith in you. I've had faith in you for a very long time. He's quiet for a second. His breathing has quickened, and his eyes change abruptly. Gone is that sense of distant authority, and in this moment he's just a young man, a human being. The electricity between us is too much. In an instant he turns his face and his lips meet mine. I close my eyes. It is so light. Barely there, yet I can't help but want a little more. With Day, there's a fire and a hunger between us, even anger, some deep desperation and need. With Andon, though, the kiss is all delicacy and refined grace, aristocratic manners, power, and elegance. Pleasure and shame watch through me. Can Day see this through the cams? The thought stabs at me. It lasts for a mere second, then Andon pulls away. I let out a breath, open my eyes, and let the rest of the room come back into focus. He spent enough time here. Any longer, and the guards outside might start to worry. "I'm sorry to disturb you," he says, bowing his head slightly before standing up and straightening his coat. He's pulled back into the shelter of formality, but there's a slight awkwardness in his stance and a faint smile on the edges of his lips. "Get some rest, we'll talk tomorrow." Once he's gone and the room has fallen back into a thick silence, I curl up with my knees at my chin. My lips burn from his touch. I let my mind wrap around what Andon just said to me, and my fingers run repeatedly over the paperclip ring on my hand. The Patriots had wanted Day and me to join them in assassinating this young elector. By assassinating him, they claimed we'd be stoking the fires of a revolution that would free us from the Republic, that we could bring back the glory of the old United States. But what does that mean, really? What will the United States have that Andon can't give the Republic? Freedom, peace, prosperity? Will the Republic become a country full of beautifully lit skyscrapers and clean, wealthy sectors? The Patriots had promised Day that they would find his brother and help us escape to the colonies. But if Andon can do all these things with the right support and the right determination, if we don't need to flee into the colonies, then what is this assassination accomplishing? Andon isn't remotely like his father. In fact, his first official act as the elector is undoing something his father had put in place. He's going to free Andon, maybe even stop the plague experiments. If we keep him in power, would he change the Republic for the better? Wouldn't he be the catalyst that Midas had wished for in his defiant journal entries? There's a bigger problem I can't wrap my head around. Razor must know on some level Andon isn't a dictator like his father was. After all, Razor's high enough of a rank to hear any rumors of Andon's rebellious nature. He'd told Day and me that Congress disliked Andon, but he never told us why they were clashing. Why would he want to murder a young elector who would help the Patriots establish a new republic? In the midst of my churning thoughts, though, one stays clear. I know for certain where my loyalties lie now. I won't help Razor assassinate the elector, but I have to warn Day so he doesn't follow through with the Patriots' plans. I need a signal. Then I realized that there might be one way to do it, as long as he's watching footage of me along with the rest of the Patriots. He won't know why I'm doing it, but it's better than nothing. I lower my head slightly, then lift my head with Day's paperclip ring on it and press 2 fingers against the side of my brow. Our agreed signal when we'd first arrived on the streets of Vegas. Stop.